morning. I'm still reporting on the economy. This will be the next to last in the series looking at the excellent presentation of Member of Parliament Stephen Baker. One would think that Baker is an economist, probably a graduate of the London School of Economics. But no, he was actually an aerospace engineer in the Royal Air Force. He decided to enter politics after witnessing the financial crisis in 2008, having worked in the IT department of Lehman Brothers. Perhaps this is one reason he can approach the subject of economics unencumbered by its orthodox baggage. He gives an excellent and concise overview of why the current debt money system will eventually crash and burn. Before quantitative easing, the most visible way that central banks would control the quantity of debt money in the system was by increasing or decreasing interest rates. When interest rates were lowered by central banks, the commercial banks would follow and lower their lending rates. This would inevitably cause an immediate increase in borrowing. And since most of the money supply in virtually every nation on this planet is created by this lending by banks, more money would flood into the system.
If interest rates are manipulated, if new money is thrown into the system, those prices get detached from the real-world values they're supposed to be connected to. What resources are available, what technology is available, what people prefer. The problem is, these prices, which have been detached from reality, still continue to guide entrepreneurs and investors. But if they're now guiding entrepreneurs and investors in a direction which takes them away from the real desires of the public, the available resources and the technology, we should not then be surprised if we end up with a later disaster. In short, if after prices have been bid up by a credit expansion, they're bound to fall when later the real world catches up with it. It's why economies now are suffering this wrecking ball of inflation followed by deflation. And here is the rub. Because throughout most of my life, the way that the monetary policy authorities have responded to these corrections has been to pump more new money. Previously, it's been through ever cheaper credit, now it's been through QE. This raises the question of where this all goes. This might actually be pointing towards an end of this monetary order. Now, that is not necessarily something to be feared, because the monetary order changed several times in the 20th century.
This is so important to reassure people that there is nothing new or scary about changing the monetary order back to what it was before. A decreasing reliance on all forms of debt in general. But, most importantly, governments should never be allowed to borrow.
The problem is basically that government wants to spend too much money. It's always been the same throughout history. Governments used to want to fund wars. Now, for all good, moral, decent humanitarian reasons, we want to fund health, welfare and education, well beyond what the public will pay in taxes.
This is the absolute driving force behind all our economic problems today. We all want it now, and when we don't have the money to get what we want, we turn to borrowing. Borrowing by governments is the Achilles heel of free governments. Human political freedom cannot long exist if we allow our governments to borrow. I'm still reporting on the economy. Good day.